Hello, class. Wow, this is so amazing what's going on in the world, and I never envisioned in 100 years that this was going to happen. But I'm going to do some switching around. I still want you to get some of the feel of the diabetic project, but I am going to slim it down a lot. If you notice this week and probably the next couple weeks, you will also have a quiz. So you will be a little bit like my online class, but I still will have some of the projects just scaled down. So for this week, the diabetic menu planning. After you have read the chapter, went through the PowerPoint, and looked at all the materials and the review games and videos that I have on diabetes, because this is a huge topic and you will encounter this way too much in your life with your patients. So what we're going to do for the diabetic planning project, the paper is on canvas for this week, and it looks like what you're seeing here. So you'll need to print that out. If you don't have a printer, just type me the information and read through the paperwork. So what you're going to see is you're going to see a case study of Bob, who's 58 years old and has not been physically active and eats a lot of fast food. So from what you know from reading the chapter, it will tell you what a A1C number percent is that's acceptable. AKA it's under 7. So you look and see his says 9.1. So we know that is definitely going to be diabetic. So we look at his weight. You'll have to look at what his BMI should be. And if you remember that algebra project that we did at the very beginning, and I said don't lose it, that will tell you what his EER is. So you'll see how high his EER is. You'll also see his glucose level, his cholesterol level, which we said should be below 200, and his LDL, which is the dangerous level, what that number is. You'll read his medical history and look at the foods that he's eating. And always consider the My Plate. Is he eating things that are from all the food groups? Is he eating lots of processed carbs, processed sugars, high fats? Does he have high fiber foods? And that type of thing. So you'll need to read through that. Even if you can't print it off, you'll need to read through it and do that assessment. Then you go over to the essay that I said is required. And some of the calculations will be required also. So the essay that says, describe the main type of carbohydrates he is consuming. This is where we are doing recall. What did you learn through this semester? You'll have to go back through the carbohydrates. What are the type of carbohydrates? The type of sugars, the starches, the simple sugars. What kind of carbohydrates is he consuming? And are they nutrient dense, or are they just going to be of no nutritive value? Number one, so you will answer that. And you can type that to me and email it to me with my email address that I have listed. Always make sure you're reading through the announcements also, as you see that the exam 2 needs to be taken this week and into next week. Number 2 question, what vitamins and minerals do you assess he would be deficient on? So does he have A, B, C, D, E, K, or not? Okay. Also, what minerals? Is he getting iron? Is he getting, all of the key minerals that we have studied? Okay. Number 3, what are some of the biggest obstacles that you're going to have if he is your patient to get him to change his diet based on his lifestyle and the age that he's at? He's kind of going to be stuck in his ways. So what are some of the obstacles he might fight you with? Number 4, what are some of the precautions he needs to be aware of? We can't just kick in and say start running 2 miles a day. We need to be aware that there's going to be some precautions on his joints, on his heart, in his life. And then number 5, explain what his HGB A1C tells about his diet compliance. I just said earlier it should be 7 or below. What is his? Okay? And so explain what that could do over a period of time of being out of compliance. All right, so that is the essay. The next thing you will do as you print off, this is where this usually takes a lot of explanation. in the lecture class, I am showing you what the answers are. This is hours of issues. So let me go through this, okay? His BMI, if you go through his BMI, is 31.6. What should his BMI be? Okay, on B on this page that is in your packet that you will print out. Calculate his calorie needs. Based on his EER, and if you did all of those algebraic that we did in class for yourself at the very beginning, his basic needs are 2655. Okay? 2655. That's what his needs. All right, then if we were to create a weight loss plan for him, what I would suggest is increase his physical activity and decrease his calories. If you remember, there are 3,500 calories that equal a pound. So 3,500 divided by 7 days in a week would be 500 a day. 3,500 divided by 7 days equals 500 a day. Okay? So he would lose 1 pound. Now let's try to get him to lose 2 pounds, because that is realistic. Not 5 pounds isn't realistic, but 2 pounds is pretty realistic for a man. So if we want him to lose 2 pounds a week, we could use 500 calories from his exercise. So let him amp up some exercise so he can burn 3,500 calories extra per week in exercise to lose a pound, and reduce his calories by 500 each day. So if we would to reduce his food intake, now we're not going to subtract 1,000 because he's burning calories, but we're going to subtract 500 a day from his 2655. That gives you 2,155 calories per day. So we are going to try to get him to, that would be what we would want him to eat. Okay? Now, on your calculations, and I'll go through this and I'm giving it to you. So count your very blessings. That's just because of the way of the world this year. Okay, so we know that 20% of your calories should come from protein. We know that 30% should come from fat, and half of your calories per day should come from carbohydrates. Okay, that being said, let's go back to protein with 20%. So 20% of 2,155 is 431 calories per day should come from protein. We know that there are 4 grams of protein in a protein. So we will, when we said how many calories are in a gram of protein, it was 4. So we will take 431, divide it by 4, and you get 108 grams. So in a day, he should only have 108 grams of protein. Okay, then you look over to this area here. Okay, so you need to use this calculation. For this, we just do the 449, 4 calories in a gram of, for protein. There are 4 calories per gram of carbs and 9 calories per gram of fat. So we're just taking 2155, okay, and we're taking 20% of that, would be 431 calories. We divide that by 4, that gives us 108 grams. And then we take the calculation over here for 7 grams of protein is an exchange, okay? That is how we got 15. 108 divided by 107, 15, okay? All right, for carbohydrates, this is where it's most important, and we're going to focus our attention on this. 50% of your carbs should come from carbohydrates, 50% of your calories. Okay, so we take 2,155, divide it, or make that 50%, so half of those calories from your total day should be 1,078. We take 1,078 divided by 4, that's the 449 number that we would use, so we are using 4 again. And then we know that in an exchange, the American Diabetic Association, this is what they base everything on and help to do the education of diabetics, 15 grams of carbs equals an exchange. So we take 269 divided by 15, that gives you 18 exchanges a day, and each exchange is 15 grams. And then finally fat, just so you transfer this down, 30% of our calories per day should come from fat. So we take 2155, divide it, or make that 30% of that is 647. Okay, this is the 9, because fat has more calories per gram. 647 divided by 9 is 72 total grams a day of fat. And then you go over to this chart here, and we do 72 divided by 5, and that gives you 14. Okay? You could just transfer this information. Lucky you. Okay, then the exercise plan, we said we're going to have him burn 500 calories per day, and then that's all you need to know on that. All right, so now what I am going to have you do, normally I have them plan 2 days, and they have to do carbs, fats, proteins. It all has to match up. I'm streaming this down. You just need to have one day, not 2, meal plan of carbohydrates, okay? This is a paper that shows you from American Diabetics information and education program. This is each of these food items that you see are one exchange or one choice. Each of those have 15 grams, okay? All right, now here is what we are going to do. When you do your meal plan for one day, what we do is we take the amount of carbs, which is 18 exchanges. Each exchange is 15. So we divide that by 4, because there's breakfast, lunch, supper, and a diabetic cannot let his glucose levels go down extremely, like a roller coaster. They need to eat snacks. So you're going to have breakfast and a snack, lunch and a snack, and supper. Okay? So that's how we get 4, because we are going to take breakfast, lunch, and supper are bigger meals, and snack is half of a meal. So we're going to divide 18 by 4. That gives us like 4.5 exchanges. So what you're going to do is you're going to tell me that will average out to about 4 to 5 exchanges per meal for the 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and supper, and about 2 exchanges for the 2 snacks. All right, so exchange, again, an exchange is 15 carbs. So if he gets 4 for breakfast, you go through and you can use any kind of meal plan, nutrition calculator that you want. I think a lot of you use MyFitnessPal. You can look in your back of your book. It gives you the percent of grams, or not percent, but the amount of grams of carbs. So let's say if he gets 4 exchanges, he could have 4 things on this chart that I'm showing you right now. So for breakfast, he could have a slice of bread, a bowl of cereal, a glass of skim milk, that's 3, and a small orange. So that's 4 items, okay? So you would need to tell me what he would have for breakfast, 1 slice of bread, tell me how many carbs a slice of bread is, the things he would have. You could include meat. Meat has no carbs unless you fry it. So you have to plan a day's meal. It has to include all of the My Plate, but it cannot have any more than 4 to 5 exchanges. Again, each exchange is going to be 15 grams. So 4 grams would be 60. 5 exchanges would be 75 grams of carbs. Okay, so if you would have, please don't limit yourself to these foods, but I'm just giving you examples. Okay, so you might have sausage and a piece of white toast. Sausage has no carbs. Meat has no carbs. So I can have a slice of toast, a bowl of cereal with milk on it. Okay, make sure you look at portion sizes too. You can have half of a portion. For lunch, he might have maybe a piece of meatloaf with a half a cup of corn. The half a cup of corn would have 15 grams of carb. And he maybe have some carrots and 1/4 of a melon. okay? Or if you want to add some milk, take out the extra vegetable and add milk. You're just playing around to get the amount. My normal assignment is you have to have all these numbers calculate out for carbs, fats, and protein. I'm only making sure that the carbohydrate amount is right. And I'm scaling it down to 1 day instead of 2. So this is much more doable. If you were diagnosed with diabetes, you'd have to do this every day of your life. And you'd have to calculate. And if you had a pump, you'd have to set the pump to know how many carbs you just ate. So this is very realistic. Don't freak out. This is, if you're in nursing, you will have to know this. Your state boards will have a lot on there because diabetes, as you found out, is on the rise because of the way people eat. Okay? So that gives you a little bit to play on. You can kind of fast forward and stop the video so you can see some of these sheets. So one meal, 1 day's menu, it needs to equal the amount that we just said of carbohydrates, which is 269 total grams, or 18 exchanges. So again, it needs to equal about 269, 270 for the whole day. So you have to add those up. If I have to get a calculator and add up your amounts, or if you did not tell me the food and how many grams of carbs it has, I will take points off. But that is the amount of the day that you need. Just breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, supper, okay? And it needs to equal that. You do not want to have like 100 grams for breakfast and 5 for a snack. I mean, you cannot have his sugar levels run up and down like a roller coaster. They have to stay in those amounts, okay? They have to be evenly spaced, like I had just said. And like you're seeing here, again, divide it by 4 meals, which is breakfast, lunch, and supper, and snacks are half of the meal amount. All right, so that is this project. You can email it to me so that I can get the narrative part, which is that part. Your calculation part, I don't need. This is just for you to fill out because I gave you the answers. But I also need your menu. Okay, so I need this, and I need your menu. Now here's just a real quickie to show you. This is my high school. You know, this is what a lunch would have to do, and you can see those numbers that are written. This is the school nutrition program person has to make sure that they know, because we have type 1 diabetics. So this is kind of, you know, an example of what you would have for your meal. But I don't want any of those exact meals because that would be no work for you. Then the next thing you are can start working on is your nutrition report. If it's not uploaded, I will get this done. So as soon as you get your diabetic project in and you've taken your second exam, you will then start on your nutrition report. Okay, it will look like this. You will choose a topic. If you are nursing, you may choose upper GI, lower enteral, parenteral, renal, kidney, cancer, affects Crohn's, celiacs, bulimia, okay, anything that is inside your body but not focused on your teeth. The dental hygiene students, you will choose something that deals with teeth only, like the effects of drugs on your teeth, the effects of smokeless tobacco, baby bottle tooth decay, cigarettes, smokeless tobacco, and sugary drinks. And you will fill out the research topics, okay? So you will do research. You can use your textbook. You need to show me 3 citations. So that will jump down to number 3 on here after you've chosen your topic. Gather information in the order, and you can write a paper or do a PowerPoint to me. You will tell me a description of that disease, a description of why nutrition is important for them to follow and why nutrition could cause havoc. Letter B, discuss the reasons why nutrition plays a part for the situation and how it could complicate it, or how poor nutrition complicates it. Letter C, what may have caused that condition? List all possible solutions, and genetics could be one. Letter D, are there ways to solve it, reduce it, or cure it? Tell me how. Letter E, list of foods or nutrients that they must consume. And it may be simple as they need to eat my plate, or maybe they have to consume more protein, or consume more iron. There might be nutrients that they find are helpful for that. Letter F, list foods and nutrients that are restricted and why are they restricted in your sources. Okay? You may also be creative and do an interview with someone who has that disease, but I know getting around people these days is difficult. So that probably is going to be out. And send it to my email address, which you see at the bottom. And then there is a rubric that you will have that will show you how I will score it. That is worth 30 points. Your diabetic project is worth, I'm scaling it down, it'll be worth 30 points, and you need to take the diabetic quiz. So that's what I have, and I so am sorry that I'm not going to be able to see you, and we will get it done, but we have to include this because otherwise you will not be ready for your state boards. You can see I'm putting this on the floor, so you're wondering what the heck that was. That was my door bump. All right, take care, and I will miss you. Make sure you keep checking on the announcements. You will be able to take your exam 2 in your final exam at home on your computers. I have it in lockdown so that you can't cheat. This isn't my first rodeo, so that you're not looking up the answers as you are taking the exam. It is timed, so you can't take forever and can't be on a phone with another person trying to get the answers. So take care, and it's been a wonderful, very interesting semester. Make sure you email me, and we will be in touch. Bye-bye.